I've been playing video games since I was practically an infant. In that time, I've played absolute masterpieces, some of which I still replay on occasion. On the other hand, I've also played some of the worst abominations known to gaming. I thought I've seen the worst of video games when I gave the disappointing sequel, Mafia 3, a shot. But that was all about to change when I won a handful of Steam games from a giveaway on Discord. The games you'll see in this video today make mediocre games like Mafia 3 look like God-blessed masterpieces. You want games made by prepubescent children? I've got those. You want games made by a convicted fraudster? Well, I've got those. Take 5 seconds to think of the worst game you've ever played. Then after you watch this video, ask yourself, is the game still that bad? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Freelancer Life Simulator is a game that fails to teach you about the struggles of being a freelancer. With a good interface and intro cutscene, I almost thought that this game wasn't going to be shit, but I was wrong. If the tutorial for your own game is boring, then there is something wrong with your game. Roads lead into walls, the inventory system is shit, and the city is bland. But none of that was as bad as when the game forced me to piss in the toilet sideways. One thing I can say about this game is that it at least had effort put into it, but I can't say the same for our next game. Hard Place is a parkour survival game with the worst movement controls ever. Walking in this game feels like you have a stick up your ass. The goal is to find random objects scattered around in the room. Why? Who knows? I just about had it with this game when stepping on a landmine got me stuck in the floor. You know your game is shit when only 36% of players completed the first level. Pathetic. Help is a horror game with no horror. The game gives you a flashlight with the lifespan of a goldfish and a radio that does fuck all. The game tries to be scary, but playing random sound effects every few seconds, but of course fails miserably. After playing for 10 minutes, I stumble across an enemy who couldn't even kill me. When he finally does kill me, the game shows me a death screen in Russian, because the developer is so incompetent, he doesn't even know how to translate text properly. And that's the last of games that don't make me want to gouge my eyes out. Glitch Simulator 2018 is what happens when someone doesn't know anything about the fundamentals of game design. There isn't much to say about this game. The main menu is void of content, the game is brighter than the sun, and everything in this game is obviously pre-made assets purchased online. Oh, by the way, Glitch Simulator 2018 doesn't have any glitches. Voxel Drivers is a racing game where the only threat is yourself, as it's almost impossible to not oversteer yourself off the racetrack. The driving controls are terrible, and I had more fun trying to do a pit maneuver on a race car than I had fun playing the actual game. Also, look at what happens in the minimap when my car falls off the track. Puzzle Story is a video game that was obviously made by a child. That won't stop me from ripping the game apart, of course. The puzzles make no sense and are repetitive and bland. After doing the same thing over and over again for 20 minutes, the game showed me a cutscene. Apparently, the lab I'm stuck in was using an experimental IQ booster on people, which turned out to actually decrease IQ in patients, and now they're trying to kill off all the people involved. If that didn't make any sense to you, That's because it doesn't. Of course, Baby's first video game is garbage. This game is so bad, in fact, that you can no longer buy it on Steam. All the video games mentioned so far are terrible, of course, but that's usually as a result of a lack of development team or understanding of what makes a video game good. These next games, however, are a direct result of the developer's incompetence to make a good video game. Time Rameseed is a game that tries to be Fear, but fails miserably. The gun takes up half the entire screen, the flashlight barely lights anything up, and the enemies can't even deal damage towards you. The horror in this game is pathetic, and shooting the walls causes them to bleed. For some reason. Check out this jump scare that happened in the game. After running down the same hallway for 10 minutes straight, and accidentally killing myself with an explosive crossbow, I immediately quit the game. If you can't even make a game the slightest bit scary, then stop making video games. Just stop! X-17 is Time Rameseed, but only slightly better. With cutscenes and scarcely better level design, it seems like the developer has learned a thing or two since his last game. Unfortunately, X-17 is still garbage. Can someone tell me what the fuck is going on right now? Because I can't! After realizing I can run through all the enemies without dying and completing the level, I am greeted by the worst cutscene in video game history ever. What the fuck? After doing some research on the last two games, I found out that the developer, Jason Welch, has a past of scamming many people with unfinished products. He even has a criminal record, allegedly. The last game we're going to be looking at today is the worst game on this entire list. What this game has that all the others don't is that Sniper Art of Victory was made by a AAA studio. That's right, this game was made by a large group of developers and still turned out to be a piece of shit. Despite being a sniper game, the shooting is wildly inaccurate, the enemies are deaf, and the map design is broken. I was reluctant to quit this game until I ran into an enemy and died instantly. Why the hell does a sniper game force the sniper to rush the enemies? I have no clue. That's all we're going to be looking at today. I've covered games made by literal infants, games made by a serial fraudster, and games that had the potential to be good, but just weren't. If you ever play a video game that you think is bad, just remember that these pathetic excuses for games exist. As an aspiring game developer myself, I find it absolutely pitiful that video games with no polish or even basic fundamentals of game design exist on our planet. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you take it easy.